Hello. Right. Oh, I've not even launched the game. That would help. There we go. I was thinking of maybe even playing something else. A Disco Elysium might be good. I say chill vibes. It's not chill subject, but it's a low energy sort of game. Hello. Which seems like it might be the best thing for just now. So let's get this launched. Been too many days since I last played it. Right, hello. How are you doing, Guspo? How's the PlayStation thing going? Very dusty. Oh. That is frustrating. You need to hoover yourself. Oh wow. Bigfollows.com. Well, at least they're trying. Nice work. It was very fast. I appreciate that. Right. That's just a black screen, that is. Hey, okay. I really need to work that out. I really need to... Yeah, there we go. I really need to work on like how the other captures work. Excuse me. Right. Disco Elysium. So basically, we just got enough money to pay off the cafe. And it is quite late now, so what we're going to have to do, let me just check I've actually, yeah, I've got the money. So what I need to do is make our way back to the cafe. Because probably a little sleepy. No, I'm not talking to you. Don't talk to me like that. And we want to have the end of the day sort of thing with Kim. So we'll get ourselves back to the cafe. Get our money paid. Settle down for the day. And then that's got to set up for... We've got a lot to do, so... We'll just do a long walk back in the rain. Now, is that music loud enough? That seems to be. Okay. Sweet. I love that. Don't be afraid to say weird things. All right. You don't. Do you want to say anything? I feel like you actually want to say anything. No, I can just click on you. Okay. Well, let's go and speak to you.
Can I help you?
Yes. About that money. How much do I owe you? 130. Okay, well I have it. Slam the bills down on the counter. I hope you choke on it. I mean, not to be the sorry cop too much, but I was a bit of a dickhead, so I'm not going to be too much of a dickhead to him. There we go. So, task complete, pay for damages. Great, thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow. Okay. He's not sorry about his behaviour for your sake. Now that you have money, he really wants to make sure you're not angry with him. Okay. Takes out his keychain and fiddles with the mechanism behind the counter. The electronic lock to your door has been disabled till 9 PM tomorrow. Okay. Please pay for each night in advance. Start tomorrow. 22 real per night. Okay. So we're going to have to try and make sure we've got enough money. Right, okay. Now the... Yeah, or find somewhere else to stay. So, I want to join him on the balcony. When we're calling it a day. I think if we just go up just now. And then we can talk to him. Sleeping heals all your health and morale. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. That's good to know. Can't believe this has only been one day. Like, been pretty intense day. I'm guessing it means out here, right?
Yes?
Remember the case. I don't know. Do we want to brief it? That's just telling us what we know. We don't know anything about the caller or the victim. We've spoken to the caller anyway. Okay, would you say this is a mysterious case? No. Could it be sexy? So he's not really... Is this a strike then, or first shots in a worker's coup? I expect the case itself to be less challenging than navigating these community matters. This district isn't used to the RCM's presence, and this appears to have done this case. Okay. Strike, coup, or revolution, it's brigandage, however you parse it. You feel something rising through you, a familiar feeling, an opinion taking form. Okay. Well... so basically we're trying to work out who to grind into pig's feet. Grind the workers into pig's feet, grind the owners. I am unsure. I don't think grounding one or the other side will work, or I've spent the last 20 seconds deciding on which side to ground into pig's feet. Why? Politics is habit forming and hazardous. It's also relevant to police work. You're right to doubt the impulse that might be detrimental to our task here. From an imaginary fan. Okay. Not really telling me anything new here. It just says, join him on the Whirling Rags balcony after 10 when you're calling it a day.
Yes?
Maybe it's nothing actually... Because I thought that might unlock something new. But maybe it's actually more just... This is a door to the room you redecorated.
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe.
There we go.
And besides, we should discuss our progress on the investigation. Let's go out to the balcony.
There we go. My throat is very, very irritated today, so I apologise for all the noises. The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then...
Shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM?
Okay. How do you think today went? Didn't even look at the body. Okay. Yeah, it's all part of the plan. Starting from the outside and working back towards the scene of the murder. We weren't able to find a union leader, much less interview him, so that's on the to-do list for tomorrow. Okay. We need to do something for the wild pine first. Okay, so we need to... Yeah, we need to do that. Oh yeah, we need to talk to the truck drivers about the drugs. Today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that standard practice? I have a really good theory about why you're running so fast, son. Just you wait until we get up tomorrow. Thank you. It kind of came out of nowhere. Okay. I don't like to waste time. My mind moves fast. The rest has to try to keep up. He nods thoughtfully, tapping his finger on his cigarette. It's impressive, especially for a man your age, and in those heels. He looks at your snakeskin shoes and smiles. Nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange. And it was another surprise one. Oh. Anyway. Stupid surprise sneezes. So we're talking about my shoes. We can manage it even in wooden clogs. There are uncanny running reservoirs and the body goes knows why. I didn't know you smoked. Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette. I could have one because that'd be a waste though. I've only got one left. Where did you get so cool, Kim? You mean this? He flicks the ash. This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will and unhealthy. Keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes a lot of focus. It would be easier to simply quit. Okay. Thank you for the second, bless you. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to have one of my own. If he offered me one, I would take it, but I'm not going to have one on my own, so just... Right. What are our powers? Because exactly, the RCM. They're quite limited. The power officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000 real for offences in accordance with an interdepartmental schedule. Okay, wouldn't that be an easy power to abuse? Yes, although indirectly citizens can always request records from their local station. Okay. Officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust. Oh yeah, why not more? RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We're not really supposed to play any part in the economic structure of Revachol. Okay, what else? We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station call slip. It prevents confusion and overcrowding. Yeah, what if they resist? As you have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the 1 year watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary. Strongly admonish not to abuse that power. Okay. What happens to the people we convict? We don't convict, we arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Quaron and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, which is why it's paramount to keep them. Okay, so if I kill someone on duty, you have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, your partner is usually your witness. Not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly. By cross-examining you for inconsistencies, it's hard to cover. It's for the best. Alright, yep, who makes all these rules? The international community's mission in Revachol and the moral intern more broadly. Basically try not to kill people for dodging a 20 quid fine. Yeah. I mean, I think that would be the the optimum result. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to maintain that order, no more, no less. His gaze is absently fixed on the window below that just went dark. Or perhaps it's better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government founded the RCM. Let's say... I don't feel like we're really... I don't know if we're really helping out the citizens that much, I'm going to say. Yeah, let's pop that out of the way. So let's say it was a coalition government. It's probably more honest, yes. Either way, the moral intern leases us the right to keep the peace in the city. They will take it away if we misuse it. Yeah, what is the moral intern? The Moralist International are the world's largest political organization. You know who they are. They run this place after the revolution failed. Okay, yep. How would you describe them? They're a union of centre-left and centre-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. They also run the ICP, EPIS, and more. Oh, most intergovernmental organizations in the world, okay? It's a little bit, yeah, okay. It's interesting. What do they believe in? They are DeLoreans? They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores Dye 4 centuries ago. Others say they're just technocrats. Alright. What is their symbol? It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion, self-discipline. I think you can... Hello? Oh, it's not for me. I think you can gauge what they want you to think. Okay, so yeah. They want us to think that they are lovely and helpful and possibly not much of that. Okay. Something ominous, yes. Something even a little feminine, but in a strict manner. Alright. Who was Dolores Dye? A historic figure, the author of the modern age, he thinks. You'll have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract for me. For you, she's something painful, though it's hard to say why. Okay? What do you think of them? Moral in terms of fact. I try not to have opinions of fact until they change. And it doesn't look like that's about to happen. It's interesting. It's, so there's a sort of political structure that's kind of ruling the whole world, basically. That has a little bit of kind of sort of, 1984, Ministry of Truth, all that kind of stuff. Kind of has those vibes. Okay. It's more than that. There's some kind of affection in him. Okay, you like them. Yes, I did when I was younger. In my 20s, I consider myself a moralist. A blue forget-me-not, piece of the sky, he quotes, they're not all that bad. But the years have changed that, and I don't know what I believe in now. He thinks it changes his mind. No, I believe in the RCM, that's enough for me. Okay. I have an opinion. Do you? The lieutenant arches his brow and then pulls on his cigarette. It's a slim white thing in his fingers. So, things are bad out there. We need them here, giving us the right to police Revachol. They've done an awful job here. Have you seen the place? This isn't humanism. We're stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organization. Immigrants, liberal fucking men, they're yep, okay. That's quite interesting, because as well as you can, obviously your personality can be like communist and that kind of thing, you can also turn into a sort of sexist pig. That's interesting. And I think, yeah, I get the feeling that they're a little bit about, protecting the ones on high. No, we are stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organisation protecting the people of Revachol. That's the hand we were dealt. Without the MI, we would be common vigilantes. Yeah, vigilantes is okay. Well, no, vigilantism is not good. But then the police are not good. Maybe we should make our own law? Spoken like a revolutionary, not a cop. Hypothetical aside, in Martinez, we really are vigilantes. At least the union thinks so. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging. Okay. The lights of the orphan district are reflected in his glasses, the red and gold orbs of the motorway sliding like pearls on a string from east to west. As Revachol commutes back to the suburbs. Tomorrow is Tuesday, Monday is over. Alright, let's look into the night. The dying lights of the city shimmer below, slowly like luminous clouds. They pass on his lenses. The lieutenant looks at his slim cigarette, contemplating the next track. The soldier is the highlight of the day for me, he thinks. This little stick right here. Finally, he pulls on the cigarette and says, they really don't like us here. In the mouth on that kid, Kuno, it's different inland. Jam Rock and the GRIH. Why are they like this? It's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the union, to the company. Not dared to come here more often. This place has fallen between the cracks, the jurisdictions of our 2 precincts. He looks at the dark silhouette of the equestrian monument cut into the night sky and says, we run the city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... Shakes his head. But we are in control and it's worth it. The organisation works. Our systems work. If they didn't, the city would disintegrate. I mean, it kind of feels like it's disintegrating a little bit. Night. Captain... Can't remember how you pronounce that name. Price steps into the yard. Piebald horse waits by the motor carriage, chewing oats out of an oat bag. Seagulls fly overhead. The sky's black. Captain Price wears a black suit and a standard patrol coat as he mounts the horse to head home. Rows of houses. Captain Ptolemy. Thank you. Captain Ptolemy. And Precinct 41 with its dome roof grown distant. Around him the streets are silent. The kid on the corner waves at the captain as he takes a turn on Perdition and Main. The horse neighs, the captain nods back. Thanks, kid, he thinks. He's grateful. I hope our investigation will help improve the situation here, at least do some good. I mean, that's true. Me too, he says quietly, but I wouldn't count on any drastic changes in our lifetimes. Alright. Interesting. Level up. Ooh. Get very cold. Let's go. Yeah. Alright. So there's a lot of politics going on here. Not surprisingly. It's interesting. I really, yeah, it's really quite interesting. I think we should go for a little sleep. See you in the morning. Oh, look at all the bottles we can pick up. That's money, baby. And we're tidying up as well. So, you know, it's good for many reasons. I do like the little clinkies. Clinky, clinky. In there. Also, I can't believe you have to spend 20 real to, like, sleep here. I mean, I know the place is a wreck because I wrecked it, but also it's a horrible room. Okay. Bed's cold and not particularly inviting, but it's yours. The sheets look awful. Let's go for a sleep. The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out. Finally close your eyes. We're gonna have some kind of dream or something, aren't we? And then sleep doesn't come. Okay, but I want to sleep. Obviously you're in bed with your eyes closed, but it's not happening. I like how it's like the bed's talking. Why? Maybe it's the bed's fault. Check the pillow. Synthetic filling has separated into hard lumps. The pillowcase smells oddly. Lovely. Blanket. Barely covers your toes, stretched over your soft belly. This is your body here, intimate and warm. Breathe. Under your thrumming eyelids, you see a dizzying array of colours. You won't get off this carousel quite so easily. Okay, roll over to the other side. It's a little better. Colour scenes and half-formed phrases still litter your mind. Part of you is still trying to solve the case, isn't it? Yeah, who killed him? Something to do with, what was that the lieutenant said, union, and it's gone again. Your thoughts lost between the slowing brain waves. No more thoughts, fall asleep now. Your breathing steadies, a great silence washes over you, until your eyelids twitch in your sleep and images start forming. Oh, we're in a dream. Well, it's never a good sign. Unless it gives us some clues. Unless it shows us something. It's very dark. Let's see what's going on over here. Is he turned into a disco ball? Oh no, look, it's me!
Do you remember the scent of your childhood?
Remember nothing.
Do you remember your wife's hand on your face?
Tell me what this is. Not answer before you tell me who you are.
You know who I am. I'm the bad day. The one where you ask her, and then later in the streets wandering. It's the worst day of all time, Harry dear. And it's coming. She will hear about it on the phone. Reality will turn into a grotesque nightmare. This will be the last thing you did to her. Tell me, do you remember the love of your life?
I left.
Oh no, funky baby, you stayed. It was the rest of it that left. While you just stood there, with one hand on the bottle, and the other on your dick, watching it go.
Alright.
Tell me, where are your friends?
Well, at least we know we're called Harry.
Human beings have friends, Harry boy. Where the hell are yours?
I can get it all back. Come on, let's be a optimistic hobo cop.
It's gone. 3 times gone, and never coming back. You failed. You failed me. You failed Elysium.
What's Elysium?
Everything. The Pale and the Isolas on the surface. The outer magnetosphere. Burning, furious truth. 8,000 years of written history. You really dropped the ball, Harry.
Okay.
4.6 billion
A
people,
lot of...
and you failed every single one of them. You really fucked up.
That's a lot of responsibility to put one person. Yeah, I've seen you before.
No, you haven't. You're just sleep talking, and the act is wearing thin too. The spots on the disco ball fade around you.
I do love the disco ball effect.
You'll be back in those cold snakeskins in no time, sweating up the bed.
Would have hoped I'd taken my shoes off before I went to bed.
Stinky boy.
Hello. I could come back from this.
You're not coming back from shit. Thrashing around in that high conductivity state of yours, bumping into things and acting like a clown? Who are you kidding? You're trying to what? I can't hear you. This is just a word dream now. Jumbled up garbage. The pictures are gone. The bed rises to meet you. A thin, sleep-like state. More glass than velvet, grinding in your head.
Hello, Mr. James. Welcome. We're just a rather deep moment The first stream. Well, welcome. This is yeah, you're coming in at quite a strange moment.
Something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad. This dry, this unnourishing. There's something wrong with your thoughts. Some kind of new type of hangover.
So basically, us, as in the character standing down here, we're dreaming right now, having a nightmare, I suppose. And it's yeah, it's quite harsh. Something quite serious is going on. So that's okay, Mr. James. I think everybody uses aliases online, so my name isn't actually Kate Smith, so
Oh yes, party boy. And it's worse than the one before. Just think of the shit you saw. Here it comes too. So soon already. A silent alarm goes off in your head like clockwork. Barely let you sleep at all. Time to get those clothes on, Harry.
I don't like my limbic system. It creeps me out a little bit.
Time to go to work in the shit factory.
Alright. So that was a good sleep. Yeah, we're not looking too great, I'm gonna be honest. Good going, buddy. Yeah, I just had the most beautiful dream. It was uplifting and rejuvenating. Really, because you feel even worse this morning than you did last night. Yeah. What the hell is going on with me? I mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think. It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. Detectives need to be able to think. Okay. Now, what's going on? It's just that your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system, Buster. Time to get some more. I mean... Okay. Don't do that. Stay strong. The hangover will wear off. You don't need to keep doing this to yourself. So this game is Disco Elysium. It's available on Steam. I don't think it's on any other consoles. It's a sort of point and click, sort of story based. It's kind of an RPG, but the RPG elements are not as involved as other RPGs. But it's a really, really deep storyline. It's all about it's about everything really. It's about politics. It's about our main character who's not having a good time. It's like just really it's a really interesting game with beautiful art and beautiful music as well. Oh yeah, I forget we've got a level up to do. Right. So we can opt in if we want to go down the speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It keeps you propped up all day. It kept you propped up all day yesterday, despite your debilitating hangover. How else do you think you've got from the floor? You got up from this floor because of a holy vow you made 16 years ago with me to wake up at exactly 7:30 every morning till the day you die. I could not do that. There's no way I could do that. Don't be silly. There was no vow. You were high on speed. That was the only reason you got up. You can't detect without it. It's that simple. Oh, we did put points into electrochemistry. So it does feel like we've got to sort of keep going down that, down that line. So we're going to opt in. I'm going to find speed and sniff it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like a good idea, let's be honest, but it's kind of the way we're going. So that's our new. So we've still got a lot of Monday quests. Yeah. We need to make sure that we get some... We need to make sure we get some money as well. To be 20 real by the time we're done today. Hopefully we can get that okay. Right, where are we going to go with this? Where are we going to go? Now I'm enjoying what we've got going on just now. Violations. Violation's an interesting one, but that seems to be steering us away from doing the bad things. So I think maybe if we are going to go the kind of electrochemistry route, maybe we need to kind of push into it a little bit more. The shivers is interesting as well. Let's do another electrochemistry. Let's go for that. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for tuning into the stream, Mr. James. I hope you find some other nice streams to watch as well. So right, so we can get some money from our bag. So I don't think it's going to be a problem for us to get 20. Should maybe check out the mirror now, shouldn't we? Yeah, let's do it. This is right from the start of the game. When you got an option to look in the mirror. But I get the feeling that the game is trying to stop you, like, seeing yourself. So, touched my face, it says there's something wrong with it. It's bloated, swollen, it's like there's an upholstery of alcohol underneath your skin, okay? Touch your nose, bet you are. Oh, I said I'm sorry. Your nose feels like a small balloon in the middle of your face. It hurts when you honk it. It doesn't appear to be a particularly tiny nose either. Not with all the drinks it's absorbed for you. I wonder if there's, like, must be a sort of weird medical reason for why, like, when you're sort of alcoholic, like, you get that big red nose. I wonder what that's all about. Oh, let's touch your tongue. It's swollen and snail-like. Oh, okay. I'm scared. Don't be scared, it's only your face. It's not like anyone's going to see it. Do it. Oh my god! Genuinely got a fright there. You have no idea who this thing is, do you? Yeah, it's some kind of superstar. I think I'm a superstar. It appears you're also dead. There's clearly rigor mortis on your face. Or wait, is that an expression? Are you trying to make an expression with that face? I think it might be because I'm a superstar. Please stop, it's horrible. You're scaring yourself. Okay. You can't stop. It's like it's not even voluntary anymore. You've worn that grin on your face and now it won't come off. What does it even mean? What is the emotion you're trying to convey? Yeah, I think it's I think it's supposed to look suggestive. I'm afraid it's meant for the ladies. Please promise yourself you're not going to try it on any of the ladies, whatever happens. No one tells me what to do. That's right, not even yourself. Go ahead, try something. It's not an order. Okay. Well, we definitely ain't doing any of these. Okay. Okay, pick up the tool and try that one. We do have bolt cutters, don't we? Chain cutters. Let's see. Go there. See what that does. Still low. Okay, let's leave it be for now. But look, in the bottom left, we've got our beautiful face just staring up at us. Incredible. It's so pretty. Yeah, you do. I feel like you could have taken his clothes off before he went to sleep, but no, okay. You know, I'm not here to tell him how to live his life. Okay, that's the room with the woman. We don't know. Can we knock? Should punch fucking hole. Yeah, we're not doing that. Okay, that didn't take us anywhere. So we've finally seen her face. I mean, that's something, right? Oh, it's open. Okay. Alright, let's go and see what Kim's got to say. Good morning, Kim.
Morning.
Looks like we can get to work at once. The union muscle has turned up. They look rowdy. We should talk to them. And these are the men Gertie told us about yesterday. I completely forgot. Sorry I had a rough night's sleep. It's them by the looks of it. Loud and nasty, just like the manager said. Okay. One loose thread less to worry about. One big problem to replace it. Okay. So we do need to get some information. Yeah. Should have dug up more yesterday, still we need to talk to them. It won't be easy. I had a lot to do yesterday, let's be honest. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. They prefer to be policed by the union, these men here. Men who drink beer for breakfast. There's talk of an armed wing of the union called the Hardy Boys who are responsible for said policing. I think it's them. Oh, that sounds bad. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Should we call reinforcements? Okay. In fact, even the death of 2 detectives might not warrant an all-out war, so let's keep a cool head. Okay. Alright. He's not exaggerating about the mortal danger, just calmly factoring it in. Your friend fist clench and your pulse rises uncomfortably. Let's go. One more thing, we don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them. Okay. They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Right. Well, maybe we won't necessarily talk to them first then. Right, so yeah, we need to get money. Let's see what she's got to say, if she's got anything new.
And there's no public phones nearby.
The closest phone booth is down the coast. Sorry for the inconvenience, ma'am.
It's fine. I understand. Thank you anyway. I'm glad to see you again, dear.
What's going on, Lena? The lady's distressed. Perhaps something more upbeat might cheer her up. Good day, ma'am. Everything all right?
Please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. I was just hoping to make a call, but the Whirling's phone line isn't working.
Did the waitress who was here, did she not say she used a public phone box?
The union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there. Or to the phone booth down the coast. And Gary's phone is dead too.
Yeah, what's wrong with the phone line?
The manager was vague about it.
Why do you need it?
Let the young woman who is house sitting for us know that we may be delayed. Morel, my husband, and Gary were supposed to be back on Monday night, but they're still missing and I haven't heard from them.
So, her husband and Gary are missing.
I was also hoping she'd heard from Morel.
Yeah.
This isn't like him at all. He always plans his expeditions so carefully.
Where was he going? Cold breeze hisses through dense thickets of reeds, something sweet in it, somnolent. A damp chill goes down your spine when you look around. You're still in the whirling in
You have
rags.
more important things to worry about.
No, I want to know, what was your husband doing? Just some field work. Morel is a highly trained scientist. He and his assistant Gary are studying an extremely rare species of insect. They should have returned by now. They were going down the coast across the waterlock to set a few traps. Is that... Have they not returned because the bridge is up? Yeah, that's broken, exactly. Yeah, they're probably just stuck. Oh my, what happened to the waterlock? Probably some technical problem. Well, whatever the cause, I'm thankful to both of you. You've spared me another sleepless night. Yeah, that's good. Turns back. I hate to ask, but if your investigation takes you to the other side of the coast, please do keep an eye out for my husband. Alright. This will surely lead to a cryptozoological mystery with that extremely rare insect. Ooh. And if you see him, let him know Lena has waited for him here at the Whirling. He gets so tangled up in his work that he may not know the waterlock's been repaired and it's cold out there. Okay, yes, I will definitely let you know. Oh, you're such a dear, thank you. Yeah, so your husband's a scientist? A zoologist, a cryptozoologist. It's a pseudoscience that attempts to legitimize research into mythological beasts and urban legends. Oh, alright, Kim. Calm down. That's one opinion, yes, and people are entitled to their opinions. My apologies, ma'am. I did not mean to undermine your hobby. It's not a hobby, dear. It's a subfield of zoology. One specializes in an animal species that are so exceedingly rare that many assume them to be extinct or even fictitious. I mean, it definitely happens. There's definitely animals that people don't believe are real, and then the scientists find them and they go, oh, these things were real all along. Oh well. Searching for such species called cryptids is difficult and often thankless. Frankly, many scientists are too lazy to do it. Universities these days are really interested in supporting real research. She's completely internalized her husband's struggles. They are her own. Alright. Maybe you could convince her to tell you about some cool cryptids. Yeah. I'd like to hear about some cryptids. I like cryptids. The lieutenant throws you one of his looks. One cryptid, not a couple. This won't turn into some kind of cryptic extravaganza. I like the sound of a cryptid extravaganza. Excuse you. Comes a spoil sport. So we need to choose. So do we want to know biggest, tiniest, dangerous, or is this a cryptidon? I feel like the pen was just a monkey, wasn't it? Or are there invisible cryptids? Well, what do we want to know? I'm kind of inclined to go for dangerous. Because that just sounds a bit... You think pen? You think there's some link because we've got the pen? Okay. I'll go for that. Oh yes, it's the kind green ape. Half war story, half undiscovered species in the genus Homo. It was reported by soldiers in South Safri during the war. The kind green ape would visit bunkers during the nights, healing wounded soldiers with its saliva. Cool. It has amazing healing qualities. Some soldiers reported growing back limbs. Alright, okay. Indeed, there is our closest relative among the cryptids. Same taxonomic family, different genus. Which is to say, the kind green ape is a species with which we share a common ancestor. And that evolved parallel to our own, just like your partners. Alright, that's a bit, yeah, he's the same species as us, come on. Like, that's very ish. That's very cringe. Oh no, I didn't mean to imply that sea lights are inferior to us in many ways. She turns to you, Lieutenant. You are superior. For example, your earwax doesn't have a foul odor like ours does. Okay, I mean, bonus. It's weird. I did mention this earlier, but I did do a DNA test, genetics testing, and the things that they can link to your genetics are quite interesting. I think mine said something like I'm like 90% more likely to have wet earwax than dry, flaky earwax. Like, okay, I mean, awesome. I didn't realize stuff like that was. I mean, I suppose it has to be genetic in a way, but nice to know these facts about yourself, you know? Okay, so we can ask about another one. Let's do it. Okay, I want to learn about the cryptids. Don't you want to hear about another? Lieutenant pauses. Something in him breaks. Ah, fuck it, let's have more cryptids. Yay, we've broken him down. He wants to know about cryptids. The most dangerous cryptid is thought to have been the gnome of Jeroma. Gnomes are terrifying. None of its victims survived. Grieving relatives never even found their bodies because the gnome's venom dissolved organic tissue almost entirely. It was reportedly a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding forehead, an ungainly little thing, quite scary to look at. Well, I would think so if it's going to dissolve your body parts. A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared and wrapped it in a tarpaulin to suffocate it. Nice. It took the gnome of Jeroma an entire day to die. If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks, confirming the existence of this very lethal species? Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of formaldehyde, thinking it would detoxify the gnome's venom. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself. A poetic end, perhaps, but a real loss for science. Seemingly this is a real thing. Are you telling me that you're researching these cryptids? Because I bloody love cryptids. They're fascinating. Okay, let's find out what's the biggest one. That would be the giant of Coconur. It says as if it's common knowledge. The giant lives in the most arid parts of the vast Coconur Desert in South Samara, casting a strange light across the barren waste. Yeah, what light? a mirage or a psychogenous luminance. How big is it? No one knows for sure. It is like an awful mountain appearing from below the horizon and expanding to cover almost a third of your field of vision. That's very big. That's very, very big. The towering luminosity of Coco Nur is a bad omen in local folklore. Some say it's a fata morgana, others a fate unimaginable. Hooey, the lieutenant interjects. No animal could be that large, it's a mirage. That's what makes it so peculiar. The species surviving at the very limits of scientific law. The giant of Coco Nur must be the largest animal the planet can support. There are limits, you see, to how large a metabolism an ecosystem can beget. Some say a gravity anomaly below the Coco Nur desert may allow the creature to grow to these gargantuan sizes. That doesn't sound like a real thing. I agree that cryptid facts are awesome. This is good shit. Yeah, we need more. Tiniest one. Cryobacter catlensis. A unicellular bacterium that was discovered in one of the northernmost points of Katla on the Boreal Plateau by renowned geologist Caitlin Minaj. Caitlin Minaj. Some 70 years ago. What's so special about it? The bacterial colony Minjaju found had remained alive while frozen in the ice for longer than anyone could reliably estimate, certainly from before recorded history. That's a real thing, isn't it? That's not a cryptid. They found bacteria that's like from the Ice Age or something, haven't they? Maybe not bacteria, but something. Majanu disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study. Alright, yep, that sounds totally sensible. The bacteria had survived in the ice since times immemorial. It's not hard to see where she could have gotten the idea. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so there's an immortal geologist wandering the world. Oh, so she's the cryptid. They found bacteria in Russian permafrost. The scientists did inject themselves with it. Okay. I mean, sure. So, after she treated herself, she stopped aging, but also became increasingly eccentric and irascible, so that even her oldest friends were forced to pull away. We could assume that she's been living somewhere in the wilderness for decades now, alone, except for the Cryobacter calensis coursing through her bloodstream. That's fascinating. I want to know more about her. I'm going to Google her after. And invisible cryptids. Of course, all fairy tales have someone or something invisible in them. Shush! She's going to tell me about the invisible cryptid. It's the Koldomama dakwa. Its name means thin whisper of sound, and that's precisely what it is. Self-replicated sound waves, invisible and intelligible. The Koldomama is very afraid of us, which makes it incredibly difficult to track. Okay. Could it be here? It could be. As I said, it could be everywhere. We wouldn't know any better. It could be ringing all the days of our lives and nights. Maybe it's predatory. It's not. Don't worry. If it were predatory, we would have found it by the damage it inflicts, okay? Yeah, I wouldn't be so sure. What if the damage is also invisible? What does it sound like? It's a high-pitched sound that us humans can't hear, nor can animals. That sounds a little bit like you know how the excuse me a second. It's said that like the our sort of like stratosphere and all that, they make noises. So is that sounds like that? Like, you know, because there's like background noise that just we can't hear, but it does exist in the world. Kind of like how there's background radiation, but obviously we don't notice it most of the time. Yeah, how can an animal be a sound? Many scientists have asked the same question. Some have claimed that it isn't itself a sound, but a tiny corpuscle that emits sound waves, but there's no evidence to support this theory. So why do you think it's an animal rather than just a sound? Yeah. It's the evidence that led to its discovery. In the 20s, a group of Areopagi ornithologists, that is scientists who study birds, were trying out a new recording technology for capturing sounds outside the range of human hearing. When playing back recordings they had made at the foothills of the A mountain range, they noticed certain anomalies, patterns that seemed random at first, but on closer examination were consistent with the waveforms of songbirds. Okay. The scientists soon discovered they could track and even predict what appeared to be feeding, mating, and migration patterns based on sound waves in a strictly delimited range of ultrasonic frequencies, even higher than those of the highest pitched backcalls. Okay. Okay. They realized that they discovered a new species and called it the Coldamama daqua, after the Pericarnisian name for the voice of God, which is said to be very silent. Okay. This is interesting. And I'm guessing they're all based off true things. Because in the study of birds, especially with flight patterns and migration, we still don't know how birds migrate, how they know where to go. There's a lot of stuff we don't understand. So I can see where the idea of it being a creature has come from. Like almost like they follow the creature or something. They grew quite obsessed with these little birds, even though they couldn't see them. They could distinguish among individual birds and even begin to name some of them. Okay, so they're tiny invisible birds. Sequester time, just going. Those are a bit fun of the Mama Daqua they followed individually. Why are they so afraid of us? That's a sad story. A group of university students assist them with the field work. In their enthusiasm for the project, and no doubt because they were preoccupied with impressing their professors, nearly drove it to extinction. They tried to communicate with it and had no other means but sound. So they started sending out sound waves at frequencies they thought might match the Mama Daquas. What happened with a sound wave meets another sound wave of the same frequency? They cancel each other out? Is that right? Yeah, okay. These tests were performed so recklessly that when they happened upon the right frequency, well, they wiped out most of the population. Great regret washes over her winding cloth. After that, the corpuscle appears to have migrated elsewhere. There have been recordings of anomalies similar to those spotted in Ea, but they've been few and far between. It's impossible to confirm the presence of any stable Coldamama Daqua population anywhere. This is fascinating. This is actually fascinating. Yeah. Oh, Kim liked the story. That's sweet. Well, actually, oh, I'm getting a bit of mansplaining. The sound waves cancel each other out if the phase is inverted. If the phase matches, they amplify. Okay. Well, there you go. There's your sound wave lesson for the day. Yeah, that was fascinating. I'm glad you liked it, but I'm not really one to tell you about all of them. You should ask my husband if you get the chance. I certainly will. Yep. Yeah, tell me a bit more about your husband. Let's just go through this because the cryptid stuff was really interesting. It's always a challenge to describe the person you know best in the world. It's very true, actually. Yeah. Okay. I just want a little bit of information. Celebrating their 16th anniversary. That's cute. Yeah, how did you meet? Via dating agency. I was looking to get back into the scene after recovering from my accident, and he just divorced. We hit it off, and here we are. She's skipping over some important parts. Perhaps you'll find out more later. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I want to know more about this rare insect. It's fascinating, but I shouldn't bore you with etymological minutiae. The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance. No, I want to know about the insect. It's a phasmid. Oh yeah, here comes the interesting. Where one other phasmids imitate sticks or... Oh, is that like... So, is that like a name for like stick insects and stuff like that? And like praying mantis and stuff? This one's a living reed. It disguises itself among the reeds here in the Insulindian coast. Hence its name, the Insulindian phasmid. There's a touch of awe in the way she enunciated the creature's name. I knew it. We're going to be chasing made-up insects with cryptozoologists. It's not made up, I can assure you. It's simply elusive, so much so... So that makes most establishment zoologists doubt it exists. Bleh. Doubt it exists at all. Okay, so why do we know? Some teenagers making out in the reed saw one. They didn't know what it was, of course, but there's a brief article in the local newspaper about their encounter with a ghost insect that looks like the reeds. Gary sent us a clipping. Interesting. Maybe the phasmid made the teenagers make out, yeah. I doubt it. It's not like teenagers need much encouragement in that regard. Okay. So most phasmid sightings turn out to be false alarms, but their description matches the Insulindian phasmid perfectly. And they didn't even know what they were looking for. Okay. Yeah, is it dangerous? Nope. Okay, is it valuable? Nope. Does it have cool powers? Oh, yeah, sorry. It can blend in perfectly with the reeds. That's how it stayed hidden all these years. Okay. Yeah. I'm afraid I'm not explaining this very well. It is very special. Okay. Morel can explain it all much better. Hey, have you got anything else to tell me about cryptids? Of course, officers. Is there a particular cryptid? No, I think we're done. I think she's told us all about the cryptids. Well, thank you. That was very, very important information. I'm glad we've got that. Is there anything new going on in the kitchen? Oh, there's a thing. There's that door we still can't get through. Oh. Tomatoes are so thinly sliced you can see through them. Awesome. You got anything more to say? Yeah, what's behind the door? He looks away quickly, shrugging and muttering. Okay. Stay masculine. Such a dickhead. It was really good cryptic knowledge. Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was a very fascinating talk. Now there's our gardener friend. We've still not managed to ask her about being in the greenhouse. So let's see if she says anything just now.
Let me handle this.
Alright.
Detective disorientated. Are you still wondering where you are? This is Martinez, in case you've forgotten. I advise you not to overstay your welcome.
Alright. Well, you're nice. You're the gardener.
I'm not a gardener. I'm a legal counselor for the Dockworkers Union.
I feel lied to.
So let's get to it. You're looking for Titus Hardy. You think he has information that will help you? Maybe he does.
Just going to see if that's not. I just want to see if I can put the music down just a little bit. Just a little bit high. It's fine. Okay.
That's Titus. Talk to him. But know this. I'll be keeping an eye on you. No strong arming, nothing official. The district of Martinez does not recognize your authority to make arrests.
Okay, I might leave this for now, actually. I might take Kim's
If
suggestion.
you recognize our authority, we will make an arrest if we have to.
Kim. Okay. What if I want to talk to you, not Titus? Oh, she is not having any of our bullshit. I saw what you were thinking. You want to say, what are you going to do to me? Don't. Just because it's in your head doesn't mean you have to say it. You will not lose out on anything good by not saying this. Okay. Okay. Let's not say that then. What's your role? He's a legal counselor. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna leave them for now. I think the fact that Kim made a big point about the fact that we don't need to talk to them just now. What are we saying? What was that? Could it be the Coldo Mama Dakwa? No, it's probably just your imagination. Is there ringing? It seems to be an extremely high-pitched ring, ultrasonic. Lena said it was very high-pitched, right? It's like something tickles your ear. Let's listen closely. It's probably tinnitus, but you know. Must be very close, maybe, just maybe it will come towards you. What are you doing? You're a police officer, not a pansy ornithologist. The only birds you should be looking for are healthy women of childbearing. Yeah, do you hear the noise? No, I don't hear the call to Mama Dakwa, neither do you. Of course he doesn't, he's dead. Alright. Sound's moving away. It's gone. Oh, come back. Oh, interesting. Keep your ears peeled. Keep your ears peeled. The long lost species of tinnitus. Yeah. Alright. That's interesting. Well, we've got a few thoughts that we can sort of think about soon. But this derealization one's quite interesting, so okay. So I think we could go and replace the Lost Bull. I can do that right now. And report back to Playzone. So let's go and do that while we're here. Because the guy with the bull is just over here. And then we can go and speak to Plaisance about what we found in the doomed commercial area. There they are down here. Okay. Hello, sir. I'm sorry I yeeted your bull into the sea.
For a replacement for the bull, you said sinking.
Okay, just calm down. Yeah, oh yeah, we've got this antique firearm. It's a Bell McGrath. Revershall made good weapon, accurate and reliable. This one's inoperable. The bolt spring is missing, the mechanism is jammed. Still a beauty. Where did you find it? Okay, in the bookshop. I'm not surprised there are probably lots of forgotten wartime weapons lying about here. As for the rifle, I don't know what else to tell you. These BM446s are an antique. No one uses them anymore. The ammunition is impossible to find. Might be something we can pawn. I found a new bull. The old veteran stares at the shot put ball in silence and speaks in a reserved voice. What is this? Are you mocking us? This isn't a Furby tank. Now, no need to get angry again, Rennie. I'm sure the officer tried his best, and it's not like there's a bull kiosk. Exactly. There's not going to be an alternative. I suggest taking it. Nice. That's how it is, huh? The man nods slowly, exhales sharply, and takes the ball. Fine, I guess you did attempt to right your hooliganism. Consider it forgotten. Okay. Well, that's a quest ticked off. That's nice. Thank you very much. And... yeah. Sweet. So... let's go to the bookshop. And speak to... oh, who are you? You're a new person. I think I saw you yesterday. Working class women, Jesus. Yeah, hello.
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 Me?
Who are you?
No one. I'm just a working class woman.
Anyone who says they're just a working class woman is not just a working class woman. Doesn't want to be disturbed that much. What are you doing?
For something to read.
Okay. Awesome.
It is.
Okay. I'm a policeman.
I know you are.
Awesome.
Everyone can see that. The rectangles.
Do you need the help?
What with?
Okay. Let's watch her for a moment. Her hands move over the book covers. The tips of her fingers look rough, stained with yellow. An array of neurons fires up with joy. Bum her a cigarette, lest it turn to pain. Do you smoke? No, I don't. I think you do. I suspect I may possess supernatural abilities. No, you don't. Okay, just give me a cigarette. Oh, god damn it. We know she's got some. Yeah. I'm not gonna be aggressive to a random person on the street though. Do you know where I could get a new pack? From the fleet. It's okay. Yeah. Alright, is your husband missing? Okay, thanks. Maybe your cockatoo's missing? I don't mean to disrespect you, sir, but you're being a bit of a cockatoo here. Okay. For what it's worth, I agree, but cockatoos can't be stopped when they get like this. It's better to indulge him at this point. What do you mean I'm being a cockatoo? Nothing, go read up on them if you're so interested. There's a good book in the bookstore. Maybe you should. What if a cockatoo is your astral captain or your heraldic bird? Let's do it. Okay. Let's find our heraldic bird. Awesome. Right, let's leave this poor woman alone. We got a random quest, so that's better than nothing. And we're gonna... So basically Plaisance obviously thought that there's lots of spirits and all that kind of thing. We've got to decide, do we tell her that it's just all bollocks?
Don't keep me waiting now. What's in there? In that dark sarcophagus?
The dark sarcophagus. Okay. There's a charnel house of failed business enterprises leeching life energy from the bookstore or a dump. I mean, it was. It's just a dump. It's not anything supernatural. What else did you find? Did anything survive? No, of course not. Have you located the entity? Yes, I talked to her. Her name is Nia, and she's a novelty dice maker. A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep. Yeah, I felt her aura. She's not the one to blame for this curse. No. See, I kind of want to be straight up with this woman. Yeah. No, she's a businesswoman. If it's not her, then where is the source of the doom? How did she explain the curse? Before you say anything, ask yourself, is a woman really able to withstand the truth? That's what I'm worried about. Okay. So just don't say you don't have any answer. Right. You've come this far, you know how to end it. There is an entity behind the entity. Okay. Right. So... we could... I mean, this kind of brings to mind the... when you have exorcists that kind of work for free. Like, not people exorcists, but like building exorcists. I remember a sort of Darren Brown series where he was talking to these sorts of people. And because he's obviously very anti people that make money from it. But even he said for the people that don't take any money from people, that even though he knows it's bullshit, if someone isn't willing to believe that it's bullshit or is too fixed on what they think it is, you can actually give them more peace by kind of going along with it in a way. It's like lying, but like nice lying. The placebo effect, yeah, okay, so it's, yeah, I that's a good way to describe it. It's like the spiritual placebo effect. So I think I'm going to lie to her. I think I'm going to say it's to do with the taxidermy dude, because we know the taxidermy guy was really into the drugs and stuff, so we can play it off with that kind of thing. I think that's what we're going to do. Did you find a way to break the curse? Yes, I despooked it. What does that mean? Are you certain? But who am I to question your methods? All that matters is that the energies are retreating. Yes, I can already feel the curse lifting. It'll be a long time until we're fully free of it, of course, but still. Nice. Thank you. You've brought a better psycho emanation to this humble bookstore. That's no small achievement. Nice. It will only last a day or two. A week tops, and her mood will sour and she'll feel the curse again. Yeah, okay. Well, all's well that ends well. Shall we return to our ordinary lives? I am looking for a book about cockatoos. There should be one upstairs right next to the shelf of biographies. Okay. Let's have a quick look. I don't really have money to be buying any books right now. Is it this one? High Speed Love. I think we read about this, didn't we? Yeah. Okay. So, what, this one then? That's crime novels. No. Oh, there. Right there. From A to Zreek, a guide to a well-behaved cockatoo. A self-requested cockatoo sits on the cover, its beak slightly open. It looks as if the bird is calling out the book title, From A to Zreek, a guide to a well-behaved cockatoo. Flip through the pages. Turns out that there's so many different cockatoo species and they all have behavioural problems. Sounds about right. It's a must-have if you own a cockatoo. I've heard they're quite capricious. I agree. I'm going to buy it. I know I need money, but I also want to find this, so I want to see what this tells me. Interact. A cockatoo is a parrot with an erectile crest found in the Semnon Islands in the southern face of the Mer. Known for their intelligence and general precociousness, cockatoos are popular birds in aviculture. However, they often exhibit various behavioural issues. What more? This book talks about the delicate nature of toos, as well as introducing some of the more popular species among the bird enthusiasts. The funeral cockatoo, the major majestic cockatoo, the most common bang bang cockatoo. It's colourfully illustrated. Alright, what problems? Where to even begin? All cockatoos are known for their needy natures, requiring attention for at least 2 full hours a day. They love to talk and have been described as lovable clowns who just don't know how to wrap up. I just love I do, to be fair. Cockatoos are fascinating. They're funny. The people describe them basically as a toddler. Having a cockatoo is like having a toddler. I wouldn't want one. But yes. Yeah, it'd be nice to have someone to talk to when feeling lonely. Technologists also report moodiness, loudiness, and hostility as recurrent issues. If left unsatisfied, cockatoos may scream non-stop, pluck their feathers, or become aggressive. It is not recommended to get a cockatoo if you're not able to cook them food every day and give them the full care that they need. These birds will never understand that you have a life of your own. Yeah, there's got to be something great about them, though. You're right, they're magnificent creatures. They love to perform, cuddle, and show off. They'll even scream for fun! Often as loud as up to 135 decibels! Oh. That is fun. Wow. The yellow-tailed black cockatoo, that's the funeral cockatoo. It looks as if it's dressed for a funeral 24/7. Alright, cool, yeah. Major majestic cockatoo. Perhaps the most impressive, the endangered, is often described as the most flamboyant bird in the jungle. Its pink-coloured wings and flowing crest embellish its proud and bumptious nature. In the words of poet-explorer Sir James Forney, few birds more enliven the monotonous hues of the verdant forest than this big, bold, and beautiful species. Oh. And the Bang Bang cockatoo, despite its banging name, the Bang Bang cockatoo is actually the shyest of the species, common in almost all Semnones forests as well as zoos in homes around the world. Its plumage is mainly grey and white. The Siamese name Bang Bang is thought to be of an onomatopoeic origins. Alright. Which one are we? So, the grey and common Bang Bang. The funeral cockatoo in its darkness can truly grasp the depths of my doom-laden soul. Major Majestic. Or what if I'm just a fuck-up-a-two? A fuck-up and a cockatoo. Oh no! Oh! I'm a fuckatoo embodied. The sorriest bird belongs on your heraldry. It probably doesn't even have feathers and only screams. Oops. Oh, okay. Oh well. That was a thing. Incredible. Actually incredible. Okay, so I think I'm going to put another level into here. Because we're almost finished this one. And then it gives us a chance to put another one. Yes. So there, that's open for next time. That's another one to add to the names. A fuck up a two. There's the drivers we could talk to. Let's go and talk to Joyce more. Because we're up this sort of way anyway, we didn't really explore that. So what I think we'll do is I think we'll go and let's speak to her daughter first. We'll go up to where Joyce is, speak to her a little bit more, and then that'll probably be us for the day. I'm just gonna eat some marzipan chocolate as we go through this. Tasty. Num num indeed. I'm wondering what the skill is that you need to retry the white checks. I wonder what that is. What was that? Nothing. Okay. Did I check up here? Like properly? I sort of skipped past it. Ooh, no I didn't. Nice. Oh, we're around here. Oh, okay.
Are you trying to sneak up on me? Come to slit my throat in my sleep?
You're awake.
Pigs come to take me out. Trying to snuff me out?
Hey, you're not even sleeping.
Trying to sneak up.
Alright, she doesn't want to say anything else. No worries, let's see what's going on up here. What's this? Garden hose. This won't be used until the snow melts. Huh? What's that? Hmm. That looks like a firing line, doesn't it? Horrific neckties back. This is bad mojo, man. Fucking horrible mojo. The end draws near. Oh shit, okay. Oh, we're not doing good. Alright. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, there's something about these bullet holes. Just the fact they're in the straight line. It just looks... Orange bum hat. Alright. What's that? Can we use like a crowbar to get in there? Is that a hat for my bum? Yes, it is exactly that. That's what it is. We can't go over there. Okay. And then there's that door there that we also can't get in. Odd, but okay. Let's have a quick look at our bum hat, actually. So what have we got just now? We've got Dick Mullins' hat, which gives us +1 to encyclopedia. This would give us +1 reaction speed, but -1 rhetoric for bum brain. I want to keep the... I want to keep this hat for now, definitely. No an issue. Heal myself up a bit. What's this blue thing? Ooh! To give us +1 to suggestion, but -1 to half-light. Yeah, I'm into it. Yeah. That thing's so high up I can't even see what it is. There's a girl up there. Oh, there is. Hello, can we talk to you? Can't see you.
The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue d'Esperance. You wait and see.
Alright.
The streets will not flow red with anything. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth? Blood type? The last time I was tested for Hep C? And here I was, trying to be polite. Just can't win with you pigs.
Okay. She's grown frustrated with her work and welcomes the opportunity to challenge authority in other ways. Okay. She doesn't like Joyce. Someone's got to keep an eye on her, okay. What's Ozone? It's where they grow whores like her and they're whore men. Okay. Alright. What are you doing? Painting a mural. Don't look much like a mural just now. So she's basically trying to do some political graffiti. Okay. She wants it to be something true and total. Okay. Honestly, yeah. I love public art. You've lessened her desire to deface a building because we supported her. Okay. Do you know anything about the murder? Okay. She doesn't like police. It's what we're learning from that. No, it's fine. Totally understandable, let's be honest. Where's this taking us? Southwest entrance to the tenements. A sturdy metal door guards the southwest entrance. Is locked. Knock. Knock again.
Stop banging on the door. I'm not letting any more strangers inside.
This is the police. Open the door.
The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here.
Please let me inside. It's cold out here.
No, I already told you. I won't be responsible for any more strangers getting into the building. Go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
Kim, tell her we're real policemen.
Madame, I assure you, we are real police officers.
And I'm carrying a bag filled with trash because it's important evidence. Okay. So maybe we need to go back round into the garden. See if there'll be anyone around there for us. Before we can get into there. But for now, Joyce has a lot more to tell us. So let's go and see what Joyce has got to say. And she seems to be happy to talk to us about things.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
I've got more questions about reality. Yes. What times are these? These are unimportant times. You and I were born after the dust has settled thousandths of a second too late. Too late for what? For the big time. The revolution. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next. Who gets shot in the head and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle. Yeah, would you say it was a bunch of apes duking it out? Does sound like evil apes to me. So who got shot in the head? The communists. 40 million people. During the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head. It's not gloating, it's a relieved celebration. When the anarchists too, they shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed. Or they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people. Yep, that's pretty it's a kerfuffle. The Insulindian deluge, they called it. I had a deluge too in my head. Yes, an acute thiamine deficiency can be exacerbated by alcoholism. Exacerbated means made worse. So, King got shot in the head or drowned. He wasn't actually the king, just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad. Cowardly king. I prefer the term risk-averse. Right, okay. It's a world revolution, not just a year. Well done. Yes, it is. The liberals got the mineral rights, and by mineral rights I mean everything. Yeah, what do you mean by liberals? Oh, breakthrough imminent. Liberals are usually middle-class people, or the remaining gentry, the beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the constitution with monarchy, big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well. They didn't win so much as survive, or were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head. So, foreign intervention, the coalition, most people really took the mineral rights. Alright. Yeah, you said the liberals took everything. The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground. The ocean, the laws, and the people. Okay, who are the coalition? The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesquite, Vesper, Messina, Orange, and Sur-le-Cliff. The armed centre of the world. There's a bitterness in her voice tempered with understanding. Moralists, yes. They believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as others do. Yes, okay. The rulers of Rivershall and also the world. These guys are strong. This is their zone of control. They emboldened RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist. If always picking the option that doesn't commit to anything, then hell yes I am. And also not. An almost endearingly moralist standpoint. It must be hard to take a moderate approach to head shooting in your line of work. Alright. When was the kerfuffle? The turn of the century revolution. Don't answer, it's a trick question. The revolution began in 02 on the Isle of Grad. But by the end, nearly the whole world had gotten involved. Oh god, okay. There's a lot of history here. It wasn't a who, but a what? A pandemic of Sazerath. A particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. And Mazov came along and overthrew the government. I'm sure this is fine. I'm sure it's not prophesizing anything at all. It's a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual case of the revolution were material, the pandemic only proved the spark. Alright. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in 08 and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end. Why, you and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control. Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie. Pair of pants. Yeah, our lives are very different. No doubt, but we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. Zone of control, a city-state divided into free market zones. Alright. Yep. The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol after the failure of the Suez-Reign and the Commune. So what happened in the rest of the world? Modernity. They developed the marvels of intersolary communication, telematic milieus, radiation, coloured plastics. Ooh. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade. 43 years. Yeah, what's been going on all that time then? 20 saw a decade of urban war. Fucking Yeah, just don't like that. It's regarded as an improvement on what came before. 09 to 19 was simply hell. And after that, the 30s, things settled down in the 30s. Artificial East transformed into the world's largest tax haven. So that's the UK then. Sorry, that's England. For the international, with the international community's blessing. The first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere. But were they? No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash. Alright, level up as well. We've got a nice reality check. Incredible. We don't seem to be thrilled. I've no right to be dissatisfied. This shirt is Barbara Muskova. This raincoat is impervious to rain and is guaranteed for 100 years. My daughters will wear it. No, it's just... We could have had so much more, every one of us, if only we'd played it right. Yeah, what would you have done differently then? What would have you done differently? No, her first, yeah. No, it's your go first. And I asked you, past list detective of the Citizens Militia, what insight has acute encephalopathy given you? Encephalopathy? You know what the word is. I would have sought a medical solution. Yeah. Cold creeps up your spine, reaches its tendrils up your neck towards the back of your head. So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds, and how would you stop a prion? A complex folding protein unlife with the technology 50 years ago. With privatised healthcare and a work ethic that does not turn your brain into sponge tissue. Or with some hygiene, modest social care, perhaps a little research program. When it stops for a moment, there's silence. The charge dissipates into the dark water. All is quiet on the Martinez Inlet. There's peace in the heart. Good hygiene, really. A very moderate solution to an extreme problem. When they failed to step up, Mazov and his party stepped in. In this particular case, maybe a more robust state response might have been appropriate. Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM. What's your position? There's curiosity there that goes unnoticed. The lieutenant takes a step back, absent-mindedly. Yeah, Kim. What's your thoughts? My position? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir. Understandable, she nods. Alright. Kim coming in there with the fine print, yeah. Kim's Twitter profile says, my views do not represent my company. Alright. Is there anything else? Yes. What is this acute? I know how to say that word, but every time I read it, my brain probably has encephalopathy. Encephalopathy. I think that's it. Anyway. It's a neurological disorder caused by lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. You should get yourself checked out. She conveys it in short, cold bursts. Try not to invest too deeply in the condition of this doomed detective. What causes it? It's either bariatric surgery, long-term, or alcohol use. Yeah, it's definitely drinking. What this boils down to is this reality thing is stupid. Blow this joint, grab a bottle and drain the shit right down your throat. I mean... Yes, and perform autoerotic asphyxiation on yourself with your funny necktie out in the open somewhere. These two should not talk to each other. Electrochemistry and horrific necktie are a terrible combination. This reality thing is the only game in town. It's probably in your interest not to blow it. Yeah, exactly. Right. Let's find out about her. What are you? I'm the vilest of the vile. Traitor, devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra. Dios mío! Draw across a liberal. Cool. I liberate pretty hard myself. No. Not like me. I am the nether creature of the forbidden swamp who pushed the king under a ship wagon and betrayed the revolution. Are you liberated enough to offer up your home on a plate for financial colonists? She looks you in the eye. No, I think no. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening? She has turned very metal, I agree. I wasn't expecting this from Joyce, I have to say, in her her raincoat that will last for 100 years. Wasn't expecting this. In her green eyes you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride. Forgive her. But only because you like pearlescent teeth and those light green eyes. Okay? I forgive you, but only because you're charming. A duel, she pronounces, who being of great charm and guile, sneaketh into the homes of the godly. Succubus. Beneath her waterproof raincoat and silk shirt is a body imbibed in numb 12 perfume. You're suddenly and intimately aware of it. Devil woman. No, I can't do it. I mean... Maybe I should have done it. But when the dust settled, the Liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed. Would you have done something differently? With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficiency of its artillery. While a gentle wind sweeps the streets of the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean. Lights go up and motor carriages circulate the tracks. I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the coalition, not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either, if not for my own sake, then for my daughters. We have an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned down the whole Isola rather than let them have it. Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes, an oil fire in the ocean. Excuse me. I mean, as much as I agree, I should have asked her if she wanted to fuck. But I think maybe I could be subtle, you know? She seems to like me for some reason. Perhaps my intellectual vanity will be my undoing. So you're a patriot? Yes, I suppose I am. I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here. Alley-lully-lo. She does look like someone who would be involved in a Metal Gear game. Seditious talk, ma'am. The lieutenant puts down his notes and gives her a look. You have daughters. Yes, whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. Aww. The classic subtle fuck. Yeah. I feel that, you know, it's the subtle fucks a little bit. You gotta ease it in, you know. And now, shall we return to reality? Okay, I'm gonna leave that one till last. Let's what is this? Bird? She tilts her head. As venison? Venison? A flightless bird of the polar regions. Keep guessing. Some sort of krill hunter? No, wait. You're an ancient ruin, a symbol of hubris and decay, half submerged in some salty sea. Really? Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games. Okay, what is this place? This is a pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or two. It's a pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. Yes, thank you. New buildings, batements, after Les Batements Nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveau, they're old. Okay. This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall, a real high-rise by the standard of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta, that was before the war. Yep, who lived in them? Mostly the urban middle class. This was once primo real estate before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off. Splat, splat. From a dilapidated building, Cindy the Skull gives Joyce the evil eye, her red paintbrush held to her throat. Wonderful. Alright. What is that? Point to Cindy the Skull. The girl in the old lady rags? Yes. Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture. Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. Uh-oh. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There's no refuge from the supraculture. I understand everything. Make it more complicated somehow. I can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want. Capital has the ability to subsume all critiques into itself. Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead. Oof. She pauses to take a long, leisurely sip of tea. What's next? Okay. Let's give this a go. Yay, okay. 6 kilometers southwest in the Valley of the Dogs, Junior Officer Chad Tilbrook takes aim at a rabid black dog licking its wounds in the grass. To his left, his partner Emil Mullins whispered, "You heard what happened to Tequila Sunset in Martinez?" "Yes, he lost his mind," Tilbrook answers, finger on the trigger. "Don't worry, Emil." He pulls on it slowly. Slowly now. You'll find it again. We always do. What am I? You're an officer of the RCM. Yep. Precisely. Joyce, I had a little bit of respect for you, but you just said precise mondo. What is the Revachol Citizens Militia? Nothing more nor less than the de facto law enforcement body of post-revolutionary Revachol. Yes, we are the Revachol Citizens Militia. Are we? We are. Said de facto. Yes, that means not de jure. The RCM acts in what is poetically called the twilight of international law, both at the behest of the coalition government and to its chagrin. What do you mean? The RCM's responsibilities are defined by the Emergency, Wayfarer and Ailments Acts, 3 pieces of legislation keeping the city in a, let's be honest, laissez-faire status to the benefit of foreign capital. All 3 are good to know when we're out policing. Yeah, so I'm a lackey of the capital. There's nothing basic about your role, detective. It's true that the RCM keeps everything the way our seemingly permanent provisional rulers like it. Yet on the other hand, I know these people. I deal with them daily. Let me tell you, dear, they are not fans of you. Why? The post-revolutionary decade was a disaster for the coalition government. Revachol in the 20s was hell, especially on the west side of the river, gang warfare, a botched privatization scheme, a nuclear pile meltdown. They called it the international zone because no nation wanted to claim responsibility. The RCM restored peace where the coalition failed. True Blue Citizens Initiative. They will never forgive you. That's somewhat of an exaggeration. In reality, ours is a mutually beneficial arrangement. Is it though? Revacholians get to keep the peace in Revachol and the coalition doesn't have to worry about it. Anyway, sorry to intrude, please continue. Yes, Lieutenant, permit me to conclude with this. Who you are to me is the police. The only legitimate law enforcement authority in Revachol. Okay. Well, thank you. Or say nothing instead. And if those authorities drink so hard they need help recalling the basic terms of reality, well, I'm here to help. It's interesting. Yeah. No point in trying to do that. Okay. Yeah. Joyce is interesting. Oh, we have our thought, this derealization. Okay. Jamais vu, the opposite of déjà vu. Not already seen, but never seen. Everything that should be familiar appears strange and new, like some half-forgotten day in your childhood, only now. That's the feeling you've been having. And for who knows how long. You should go and ask Joyce Messier about that. This is very handy. What world are we in? This is a fundamental questions. So you get +1 XP for every orb clicked, and all intellect learning caps raised by 1. That's pretty fucking good. Nice. So, we've got... Oh, I'm definitely going to do this one. Got to do this one. You heard it, the mysterious call to Mama Dakwa. You're certain that you did? Well, maybe not quite certain, but let's say you're hopeful, because it would make you very special. You'd be the only human being who can hear this invisible incorporeal bird, this animate whisper, this particle of sound. You're going to have to keep listening, sharpen your ear. Yeah, I want to find the invisiburbs, definitely. Definitely, so let's do that one. Sweet, okay. Oh, we should probably talk to Joyce, since we've done that thing.
Good. What can I help you with?
Oh, okay. Okay, we can now do this. Well, hopefully. Let's see. Nice. What world is this? What world? The fading pearls of her eyes look to the sea. The only one, I suppose. The world of matter and its pale antipode. The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water. What do you see? Great bodies of water, forest-covered surfaces, clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage, we all have. This world is enough. There's a term of endearment they coined for it in the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more and more of it. These archipelagos included Elysium. Okay, yeah. It does need it. The world does need a term of endearment. It does. There are those who would call it hell. What is hell? A term of hatred that originates, like many things, with the Misk petrofascists. Yeah, I've not got the full picture yet. Oh, you want a picture of the world? There's no complete set yet. Dear, they're having some trouble reaching orbit. How come? Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside, sideways. Yeah, well, what shape is the world then? We used to think it was a sphere, but that's beginning to look less and less likely by the day. You wouldn't know it from tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s. ORG, Occident Revicholgrad. Thank you. There's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three scientific contributors, they're piecing together a dark grey corona. Yes. Hail covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago. Interesting. Cold fear seeps into you. To the pale is this other... They say there's a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we're still living on a planet. Or to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness. So, is she saying that maybe, like, they were on a sphere and it's, like, broken? Like it sort of exploded? And so there's just all these parts that are floating? I'm sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying. Through the acute into that word. Even scientific positivity. I'm getting to that point now where I can't read anymore. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here. This is one of the great questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together, however naive that might sound. A fractured corona doesn't feel like it's going to bring anyone together. You've misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane, very disco. You'd love it. Alright, okay. Yeah, if you say it's disco, then yes. She knows us. The cold seeps into you, the air is heavy with 80% humidity. Suddenly you're conscious of yourself standing there on whatever this all is. Your arms hang down by your sides. The lieutenant observes you both silently. He adjusts his glasses. Yes, please explain about the pale. The pale is not technically part of reality. Yes, the lieutenant looks at his watch, although I think we've had enough excitement for today. Remember, we have a cadaver to attend to. Kim? I want to know about I want to know about this part that's not part of reality. His voice is low but firm. All she can say is, of course, Lieutenant. She bows, then turns to you. Let's try something else. I want to know what it is. I don't think your colleague would appreciate that. He's already been so patient with this whole exercise. Talk to Joyce about the pail without Kim. Okay. Yeah, ask for Kim to step away while you discuss the pail. Yeah. A good idea, just ask him, he won't make a scene. Kim, can I talk to the Mamelon for a second? Fine. See, what can he do? You're a grown man. Right, what is the pail? Are you sure you're sure? Your colleague seems adamant. Yes, I need to know. Okay. The pale is the most dominant geological feature of the world, detective. The separate tissue between the isolas. It is the intersolary mass. Okay, so what's an isola? Isola is a Messinian word for a continent of matter enveloped on all sides by the pale, also isolation or landmass. We used to believe there was only one. In the last 4 centuries, we've discovered 7. Right. So my idea of a sort of, yeah, we're living on the floaters. But my idea of like an exploded Earth feels, maybe? And so like in between each part is the pale. Mundi, Seol, Samara, Elmara, Grad, Katla, and this insolent. Insolindi? An oceanic isola. It comprises mostly of water. Mundi is the largest, Katla the coldest, Insolindi the bluest. What can I say? Each is Persian and dear. So what's the pale like? Achromatic, odorless, featureless. The pale is the enemy of matter and life. It is not like any other or anything in the world. It is a transition state of being into nothingness. Is it here? No, detective, we're safe. It begins there, 6,000 kilometers to the north and even more to the southeast and west. You're in the middle of the isola. Right? As your gaze instinctively turns north, a small black pit opens up in your stomach. 6,000 kilometers from the end of the world. Yes, that is enough. Many cities are built much closer. Okay. An uproar of matter, darling, rising into the pale, rolling, evaporating even, a great vision. The area of transition between the world and the pale is called porch collapse. Imagine a grey coronal mist, cold vapour, marked by spores of an opportunistic microorganism. A mould that's adapted to grow at the edge of the unrest. It's the most disco thing you'll ever see. Okay. What are its physical qualities? It's difficult to describe or even measure. Something whose fundamental property is a suspension of properties, physical, epistemological, linguistic. The further into pale you travel, the steeper the degree of suspension. Right down to the mathematical numbers stop working. No one has yet passed the number barrier. It may be impossible. Yeah, so if we're surrounded, how do you get from isola to isola? Oh, it is so difficult for us. It is possible to force dimensions on the pale. In modern times, we can even compress its latitude, bouncing radio waves from one end to the other, shortening the path. But it's still hard for humans to navigate the pale without getting lost or having their minds damaged. This is fascinating because I was not expecting any of this kind of thing in the game. Even though the game is obviously set in a different time, I'd always presumed it was just set in, you know, Earth times. So did you travel the pale? I mean, I'm guessing that's the implication. That, like, maybe we've travelled the pale and that's why we have no memory. But we are also an alcoholic, so it could also be because of that. How much pale is there compared to the world? The pale outweighs reality 2 to 1. There's more pale than there's matter, and the ratio is slipping. Okay. So it's slipping how? To our detriment, or what do you think? I think it's growing. There's more of the pale. Precisely. One of the few measurable effects of the pale is that it's expanding at an unknown rate. An intuitive conclusion of that development is that one day the pale will cover everything, but this sort of talk is mostly left to extremists. Yeah, that doesn't seem extreme at all, if it's happening. Most people, and indeed most private and government sector organisations, entire civilizations and religions even, find handy ways to ignore or downplay that knowledge. Alright. It can damage the mind extensively. How? Some say the damage stems from extreme sensory deprivation. Others argue that pale somehow consists of past information that's degrading. That is rarefied past, not rarefied matter. Oh. Well, that's interesting. Okay. They call it the blend over of the self. The pale does not only suspend the laws of physics, but also the laws of psychology, maybe history even. The human mind becomes over-radiated by past. What does it feel like? It feels terrible, absolutely terrible. International standards strictly limit civilian travellers to 6 days of pale exposure per year. So you're not a civilian passenger? No, nameless detective of the Citizens Militia. I'm a member of the Entroponic business class. I'm cleared and trained for 22 days of pale transit annually. Perhaps that explains her strange pining after the revolution, some great degraded early memories. Yeah. Are you over-radiated? Up to my gills, officer. An acidic smile on her lips. It's getting worse every year. Okay. What is entroponotic? Entroponetics, she corrects, is a scientific study of the pale. Our recent iteration of it by way of grad. The study of the pale reaches back 6,000 years. The Pericarnasians called it the Western Plain. There are signs of pretermodern crossings. Successful navigation of the pale relies not just on technical know-how, but intensive psychological preparation. Some of these tactics have been known for thousands of years. Okay. Yeah, so what has it changed? Nothing. We remain powerless before the pale. The only real advance in pale transit is the speed with which an aerostatic craft can pierce it. Less exposure leads to less effects later. Okay. Hybrid airships. Aerostatic craft. Conventional rotors or jet engines no longer add velocity after the point of reference for motion is suspended. Once you've crossed from near pale to far pale. In essence, we throw them in and they come out the other end if we throw them precisely. Now, if we don't, then they don't. Okay. This is interesting. There's definitely going to be something about us with the pale. Yes. Yes, sweet reality. But before we do, tell me. Is this the first time you're hearing this? Do you really not remember anything? I sometimes sense vague shadows of past, but it's not good. Or I'm getting a sense of who I am, but no, I didn't know this. Yeah. Beyond curious, tell me, what do you think of the pale? You're right, it's disco. A powerful anti-communist force. Perhaps too powerful, but still, they have it coming. Yeah, like... Its advance can only be stopped with immediate, total, ruthless communism. Let's go for that. Her eyes tense, crow's feet radiate from them. She observes you, your bloodshot eyes and swollen face. Your ailing constitution, sweaty forehead, the beads there, and your heavy breathing. You really didn't know. This does not spell good for the investigation. If you don't know even this, then... okay. It'll be a fucking disaster, I know it. All those people will die. All those people? Let's be honest with her. Your colleague, Lieutenant Kitsuragi, is competent. I checked up on him. And you have me. I will try to assist you in any way I can. Some of that assurance is meant for herself as much as it's meant for you. Must have a lot on the line here. Okay. Yeah, if we have to do it one basic term at a time. She's really nice. Good. You have not passed out from it. Perhaps I worried for nothing. Are we still in the reality lowdown or should we do actual police work? Yeah, let's get to work. Okay. That's pretty fascinating. Oh, we've still got the spinners. I wonder if we can give them back to him. Did we read this? Oh yeah, that was a note. It was in the fridge underneath. That's really interesting though. Very fascinating. So find speed and stuff it. What did we got another level? Ooh, okay. Okay. Now, where do we want to go? Sell the spinners and buy loads of great shit. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I still feel kinda bad about taking them from Kim. Weirdly. But I've got them now. So I need to do something with them. Stop being the sorry cop. I know, it's really hard. I'm trying to be this badass dickhead disco cop, and it's just... it's so not natural for me. I need to try harder to be a bastard. How much of a bastard do we want to be? Too nice. Oh, it's like that. It's, you know, it's that trope of like not even being able to say bad things in like games and stuff. I can't do it. But we'll do it. We'll be the badass. We'll be the badass disco cop. So we haven't put any point into Shivers. Shivers is an interesting one. What else? Like there's things like that, you know, pick locks and pockets. Savoir faire, is that literally just like stealth? It urges you to be better than you are. It urges you to be disco. I mean, I gotta go for it. At high levels, it'll make you the king of cool, which is as much to say the most stylish douchebag in Revachol. I think anything that makes us cooler, we have to go for. I've tried to do evil runs in games before, and I generally pull out of it. Yeah, I think the only one I ever managed was Fallout with oh, what were the, was it Fallout New Vegas with the really evil like guys? What were they called? You know, Kaiser and all that stuff. Kaiser's Legion, yeah. I think I managed to do a sort of run with them, but it was weird because it wasn't like you didn't really have a full. You didn't have like a full experience. Like it didn't really affect that much, sadly. But that was quite interesting. I'd rather be indebted to Kim than anyone else. At least that's a debt you could possibly pay back. You're quite right. Yeah. You are right in that way. And it's not like, you know, when it comes to the wheels, it's not like I forced his arm, you know. He chose to sort of help me out and give me those wheels, so I don't think it's the worst thing, you know? Oh, what's that? So, we are close to the antique shop, aren't we? I do want to try and get in there. Let's just go round the back here and see if we can actually get in, or if someone will answer the door around here. See if that takes us anywhere. Oh, there's things here. Balcony with a view to the yard and the hanging. That smoker could be a witness, yeah? You're not going to let me see that. Can I talk to you yet? Oh. You see a young man on the balcony nursing a cigarette. His eyes have been following you for a while.
Not looking for any trouble, officer.
Yeah, no trouble from me. I just want to know what's going on.
I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie, if that's okay. I just want to finish my cigarette.
Okay. It's the god of cigarettes and youth. Ask him if he's got anything to spare. Yeah, can I at least have a cigarette?
Apologies, but this is my last one.
Oh. The god himself has denied you absolution. I need absolution.
Absolution? I don't know that brand. I'm pretty sure you can get Astras at the Frit.
Can you toss that one down?
Sure, that's a good idea. I'm not throwing anything.
Alright. There's no way you'd catch it anyway, yeah, that's true. Yes, really, don't even try, you'll just embarrass yourself.
As you wish.
Okay, we really need to talk to you.
Really that important?
Yeah, there's a dead body. Like a nervous cat, he keeps stealing looks at the neighbouring windows.
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run.
Okay. Looks like you've got a good view of the backyard. Can you tell me anything about the hanging? I'd even go so far as to say the view is a little too good, my dear Gendarme? Gendarme? Do you have an estimate of when the body will be taken away? We'll remove the body as soon as possible. Now tell us, where were you last Sunday? Oh, you already asked me that, didn't you? Did you? Ooh, not you two, some more muscular type. The lieutenant takes out his little blue notebook and writes something down. And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman? Last week, I don't know. Look. Looks around the courtyard again. Okay. Didn't answer the question. What were we doing last Sunday? I had a friend over. What kind of friend? My Sunday friend. A Sunday friend? How intriguing. Makes sense. Friends are nice on a Sunday. You don't have to work. You can just spend time with pals, watching rugby and drinking beer. He doesn't reply. Can you tell me your name then? My name is Martin Martinez. Incredible. Martin Martinez. Good local name. Let's go with that. Yeah. Not going to tell me anything then. No, he won't. He takes one last drag of his cigarette before stubbing it out. Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going. Yeah, you need to stay. This isn't a place or time for questions. Who knows who might be watching from the distance, hidden behind the curtain. Hey, listen, I'm just trying to make things okay again. Can we meet again somewhere else? For a moment, the man on the balcony seems almost vulnerable. Something moves in the depths of his feline eyes, compassion and a hint of understanding. The snow gathering on his hair and on the shoulders, a speckle of white against the purple, hangs loose on his slender frame. When he speaks again, his voice is soft and deliberate. I'm sorry, but I really don't have the information you're looking for. The flick of his wrist, he sends the cigarette butt sailing over the rail. But hold on, what's that? For a split second, his hand lingers as though gesturing towards a stone placed right next to the front door. A key, maybe? Good luck with the investigation. Walks away. Alright. He's gone. We should run after him, see where he went. No point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself. You're right, he probably didn't have anything important to say anyway. Could be a witness, him or his Sunday friend. Either way, we need to look into that muscular type. He's asking about our case. He did leave us a sign, did you see that? He wanted to draw our attention to that stone right over there. If we find a way inside the building, we can ask around for his apartment. Yes, okay. So, what's in the stone? Yay, it's a key! This must be for the front door. Pity it doesn't have the apartment number on it. This building has many apartments. The man can be in any one of them. How are we going to find the right one to go in and see? Alright. Alright, let's do this. And then I think we'll have a little chat to the people in here. And then I think we'll leave it there for today. Let's get another... Let's get some more pain threshold. Let's be a strong asshole. How is everyone doing today? Hope we're all doing okay after the festive period. Okay, so there's nothing there. Let's see what's out in the balcony. Oh, lots of things. Glad to hear it was quite pleasant. Yes, I was just fine. Obviously pretty quiet, you know. Our wee man got some presents that he was very happy with, and then we just sort of had some food and watched some movies. And I don't know, like, you know, it's not great not being able to see people, but there is something nice about not having any like other commitments. 28, a door to be remembered, okay. Complete silence, whoever lives here isn't home. This is the door to apartment 30. Alright, sweet. Oh, look at all that money to be made. How'd I get up there? I'm gonna have to go maybe in? Maybe in and then out again, yeah. So yeah, it's been okay, you know. It's a strange time in general, like this sort of time between your sort of Christmas and New Year, and it's a weird time where the sort of normal rules go out the window. You know, you eat too much cheese, you know, and meat. What are these? Plus logic, -1 authority. Filthy boho, probably a narcomaniac. I have authority from somewhere. Let's put them on. I like them. Yeah, let's put them on. What's going on here? And snoring. Oh, hello. Wait, can we go in? Here we go. Shower curtains are covered in some sort of slime. Lovely. Nothing else in here. It's gotten quite somber music in here. There's on a 5-pointed star on the wall. This isn't just a 5-pointed star, it's an inverted white pentagram cradled in a wreath of antlers. The iconography of communism, in other words. The star and antlers was developed in the 6th decade of the last century, and quickly adopted by Mazov and the communards during the revolution. Even today, after half a century after, the star and antlers retains the ability to evoke hope, disappointment, and fear in equal measure, just like me. Why is the star upside down? To symbolise the toppling of the old order. Also, some social democrats were already using it. Okay, what's the antlers? The wreath of antlers represents a natural crown. It was about building a society that could exist in accord with the natural world and at the same time above it. My white, because white is the colour of peace. What does it evoke in me? It hurts. Alright. Okay. Padlocked door. A chalk-drawn number on the board says 11. No. It's as if it's padlocked. I can't open it from the inside. Solid lump of metal, but the shackle is deeply corroded. A solid pair of chain cutters. Well, that's handy. I have chain cutters. One thing that has been nice is we have been catching up on movies. And finally watched... Well, we watched Parasite, which I really, really enjoyed. Why did I feel... Oh, that sucks, okay. Evening Warby, how's it going? Just reminiscing over the festive period so far. Did enjoy Parasite. Also watched Midsummer last night though, which I did not enjoy at all, shall we say. Oh Jesus Christ, okay. Okay. I should probably... I'm going to heal my morale because I'm doing not very well with cutting this. Let's try again. As Kim pointed out the shackle. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yep. Oh, Jesus. Okay. You put skill points into interfacing. Oh, so you have to put the points into the... Right. Okay. Got you. Got you. Okay, so we didn't get in there. And we hurt ourselves a lot. So, sucks. Let's see what's going on here. Locked door. You hear someone walking around. The walking stops, but no one comes to the door. Feel tension on the other side. Steps come closer. Who is this? Demands a female voice, wary and tense. This is the police. Open up. Do I have to open the door? She's getting defensive. Do you have a warrant? I'm not obliged to open the door if you don't have a warrant. Alright. Let's leave that. Door number 9 is locked. Steal some more money. Yes, Warby, how are you doing this evening? Evening? What time are we at? 6:15. Okay. Graffitio says a firing squad for the rich.
Give me a moment.
Okay.
The cold never does any good for my bronchitis.
Oh. This woman's health is failing her. There's not much to do, not in this damp.
I'm fine. Don't you worry about me.
Oh. You're still worried. It's very worrying. Yes.
Now, what you want from me, policeman?
I can't believe I'm actually asking for Martin Martinez. Who are you? No one, just an old woman who cleans these hallways. Do you live here? If you can call it living. I have a little room upstairs right next to the coal room. It's barely bigger than the closet, but I don't complain. I have my bed and my aching bones to keep me company, and that's all I need. And all she gets too, the coastal wind beats down hard on the coal room door outside. Flushes of waves make the balcony slippery. I'm looking for Martin Martinez. That's totally his real name. Oh, you'll find plenty of Martins here. Don't you worry. Yeah. P-Brain, someone played a trick on you. Martin Martinez is a name for anyone from Martinez, like Jim Jamrock. Jim Jamrock's a really good name. I like that. Or Ryo Ravishal. Yeah, I did not get the joke. I thought it was obvious he stops before he offends you. Anyway, we don't have the witness's name. What about a young male in his mid-20s, dark hair, skinny build? I know who you mean, the scrawny boy who's always smoking like the devil. She looks at the other end of the hallway. Somewhere in the building, a child starts crying. You hear a radio tuned to a talk show and someone taking a shower. What's he in trouble for? He's not in trouble. He's wanted for murder. He's gone away for life. Talk. The cleaning lady starts laughing, but turns into a violent coughing spasm. He lives upstairs in room 28. Go to the balcony. It's one of the doors there. Which points east. He's usually home in the evening. 28. Yes, that's the door we saw that we were like, this is an important door. Okay, tell me about the apartment. Who lives in apartment 10? No one, it's empty, but I talked to someone through the door. Impossible, I would know if someone had moved there. Okay. Maybe it's those counterculture people again. Breaking into our house like it's a public space. You're a policeman, be good and take a look, will you? Yeah, I'll see what's going on. Great, young people like that, worse than rats, you know, always littering the hallways with trinkets and empty beer cans. Children these days. Good evening to Mr. Francis. How are you doing? Hope everybody's having lovely festive times. I think the best thing we can do right now is just chill out, eat lots of food, and just chill the fuck out. Like, I think we deserve that, you know, after this fucking year. Who's behind the padlocked door? That's a scientist. Why would you wouldn't be able to live somewhere behind a padlocked door, because a padlock would be on the outside. Then how would you open it? I think he studies astrology at the community college. Something to do with all the stars around his door. He asked me to leave his drawings up. Okay. Do you mean astronomy? Or should I tell it? No, like, let's tell her it's communism. The symbol of what now? Okay. It's an ideology, it has some noble aims, but it's also been used to justify terrible bloodshed. You know, the ones who support the working class against capital. Yes. I thought Revachol was the capital. Okay. Well, can you tell me about Cindy, the artist? Nothing I can do about her. She ruins the walls faster than I can clean them. Still, she leaves an old lady to her business more than I can say for others. Alright. So, I feel like we can go back and speak to number 10 then. What's that? Postcard, Boogie Street. Amazing. Yes. You're doing well, relaxing and munching on shortbread. That's amazing. I've not had shortbread for a while. We did make some gingerbread biscuits quite a few weeks ago, but they all got eaten pretty fast. There's no sweet talking your way in here. Be official. Okay. Are you cooking morphine in there? I don't need to worry if I suspect there's been a break-in. Oh, come on, there's a pause before you hear the door being unlocked. That was smart, the lieutenant says, nodding towards the unlocked door. Thank you, Kim. What's going on in here then? No, I didn't mean to close it again. Open. There we go. I'm just gonna look in your wardrobe for... Ooh, shoes. Black monk straps. +1 to indirect modes of taxation. Affluent moneymaker man. I mean, that doesn't quite sound like my... That's not the kind of thing that Hobocop would wear. I feel like... I wonder if we can sell them. You tried to make your brownies and you don't have a brownie tin anymore. Oh no. You could have made like, don't know. Like if you've got other sort of tins, you could make, you know, like brownie muffins. Or brownie, like brownie bread. What's this one? Blister pack of medicine. You should take it. Yes, I should, thank you. Hypnogamma. Oh, it's morale. That's good, because my morale is fucked. Brownie bread. Now that's an idea. This thing about bacon that I've discovered in my many years of bacon experience is that it's very scientific, but in reality, like when you're making something that ends up in a sort of cake consistency, you can basically cook them any way you want. So you just have to like adjust the cooking time. So, you know, you could take a brownie mixture and like put it into muffin cases. It wouldn't rise as much as a muffin, because brownies don't rise that much. You'd have to cook it for less time, because they're obviously smaller, but you'd still be able to basically make brownies, so... Right, this is a real estate agent. Marielle Charpentier, and I'm an agent with Martinez Realty Associates. I'm not breaking in as I have every right to be here. Alright. Her voice is really cheerful despite her obviously hating you. Want to see my ID as well? You can't legally ask for it, but why not? Want to see my resident permit? Okay. Inspect the passport. It feels flimsy in hand, with words Revachol zone of control. There's a picture of her. Be friendly. Okay. Nice haircut. Thank you. Do you have any questions? I need to be back in Bedtown in an hour. Yeah, what are you doing here? I need to get ready for the next lease, but as you can see, the previous tenant completely trashed the place. Sounds like they knew how to have a good time. Some kind of a moribund old man who used to be a business owner. You think they'd make rent. She stops hesitating. That was months ago anyway. Was there anything you wanted? Yes, I glimpsed a foreclosed apartment in the hallway. That's another huge mess. The former tenant owes us 3 months of rent. We closed the apartment and planned on auctioning off the valuables, but... And again, I have no idea how stupid mistakes like this can happen, but Ron, when he came to close the door, didn't close the neighbouring door and there's a hole in the wall. So preppy. She's probably on some low-grade performance enhancers like Preptide or Pericanine. A hole in the wall, can you believe it? Then the tenant ran off with all his stuff. He's gone, the money's gone just like that. Oh, it irks her, the incompetence. My money has also disappeared. Well, it does not disappear from my hands. Already put in far too much weight. I don't think anyone should be concerned with putting on weight at this time. Honestly, it's I think everybody gets a pass. Not that there's anything wrong with putting on weight in general, but look at the size of this apartment. She's trying to say that it's an amazing apartment. Yeah. I tell you, Martinez has a future. In a few years, it's going to blossom with artists and creatives and those radio computer wizards. It's as if they're real wizards, able to resurrect dead real estate and breathe life into bank accounts. Okay. What happened to the wall? I have no idea. Both apartments are now unrentable. Both. She's shaking her head, manicured hands crossed over her chest. Okay. Alright. So does that mean... Does that mean we can... Which apartment were we talking about? It's not one of these ones, is it? No, because that's a weird bathroom. Oh, this is the... Oh no, so the padlocked one is... Yeah, the padlocked one's the communist guy. That's the... Right, okay, that's the one she was talking about. Where there's a hole in the wall. Got you. Okay, we didn't come here before we spoke to the cleaning lady. Shivers, a shift in temperature, the air chills around you, dust settles on the stony floor. Rub your sides for warmth. A former architect stands before a slice of window, a room plan in her hand. A cold wave has made the air in the building stand still and frozen with temperatures falling down to -20. Her face is red from the cold. She's breathing on her fingers, clasping the plan. Traces of sadness are visible in her expression. Plan? Faint pencil lines on paper depict the same place, but a missing eastern wall connects a room with the neighbouring apartment. Ideas for arranging the furniture have been jotted down. Looking around yourself. It's clean and empty with new tapestry embellishing the walls. A standard HB graphite pencil has fallen off a three-legged stool in the middle of the room. Alright, sweet. Someone has torn down the wall. Right, what's left in here? A fridge. With some health and some money. Nice, oh yeah. And what have we got? An old grocery list and checks. Alright. Cool. Right, so let's report back to you.
Give me a moment.
It's just a real estate agent. I hope some good people are finally going to move in. This place needs them. Lacks women and sexual deviants. That's who'll come. I know those types. Yes, there have been some here, but they never make their rent, so they have to move out. She appreciates your effort to curb the deviantry and laxness. Yep. I'm glad she does. Endurance. It's clear you like the hard stuff, brother. Give me the loops, brother. Yeah, what's going on? Evening falls, the time has come to take the vows. What? The vows of blood and flesh. What? Lauren testing this term is metabolic and circulatory system. What's the hard stuff? Fascism, brother. Brother! Let's get a bit fucking Metal Gear up in here. Okay, what is fascism though? Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. What does your gut tell you is the source of Revishal's problems? Let's go full commie. Let's say it's the financiers. Yes, them, but also woman. Women? Woman. Men of woe. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed off this world with rubbing alcohol. Need to go back to the fucking kitchen. Okay. That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important, but the main thing is that women need to know their place. Am I having some kind of stomach seizure? Stomach truth. You're having a stomach truth. Why? Because you've said the hard things that others won't say, the good things. You've said them many times. Yeah, but I've said them tongue-in-cheek. Fascism sounds so bad, though. What if we called it something else, like traditionalism? Let's call it that. Good thinking. Okay, I've made up my mind about fascism. Proceed to the judgment. You're going to keep your vows, right? Keep your vows, brother. I will keep my vows for the glory of the Revachal nation. Or absolutely not, I'm not going to be plagued by an upset stomach. Come on, have a little bit of fascism, just as a little treat. Go on, just a little bit. Just a touch. No. I'm not. I'm prepared to play a crazy drugged up asshole, but I'm not going fascist. There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestines knocking on your alcohol-engorged liver. It's one of betrayal and disappointment. I prefer the idea of being a communist. You know, oh, that's a padlock door again. A communist, like misguided twat rather than a full-blown fascist. I mean, you shouldn't listen to your lore and testing anyway. That's just asking for trouble. Okay, so we're work out where this door was? No, okay. Right, so it's this one, yeah. Doors made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Okay. This is where the smoker lives. No one answers. Looks like the young man we're looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him is in the evening. We should return tomorrow after we've finished our day's work. How about 9 PM? Okay. Sounds fine. Turns out it's quite tricky finding someone in a big apartment building. Don't worry, you'll get him. I mean, if he's not in, he's not in. Not like much you can do about that. I really want to work out how to get up here. I feel like it's got something to do with that door, maybe. I don't know. I think listening to your lore and testing is fine, just using it for... I think listening to your lore and testing for anything apart from political opinions is fine. But, maybe just not for political opinions. Imagine finding out that your Lauren Teston was a fascist. What do you do with that information? Right, I think, folks, we're going to call it a day there. Because, don't know about you, but I'm getting hungry. And want to go and chill out. Maybe watch a movie. Do something like that. Let me just make sure to save this. And save. Oh, thank you, Avrocar, for being here. Over the next few days, stream is going to be inconsistent, obviously, until we get kind of after New Year and everything sort of goes back into a proper rhythm. But we'll try and do some more Disco Elysium over the next few days and get back to do a Fallout night here or there. Come and join our Discord, and if anyone has any ideas for games, like, especially like Wii community games, I'm up for like a Jackbox night, anytime. So if people are fancying that, anything like that. There's a lot of games that I'd like to play. I really want to get through this. Not get through it in that kind of way, but I really want to see it to the end, because it's such a good game. Such a good game. I feel like we're maybe only halfway through, even if that. So it's going to be a long one. But that's what's wrong with that. It's good exploring it, getting through it. Oh, right. I think we are good. I hope everyone has a lovely evening. I was just actually having a look about raids, and there's also Dan Lysak. Dan Lysak's doing Yakuza. And he's a good guy. So I think we should do that. Yeah. If anyone's not aware, Dan Lysak he's a good music guy, and started streaming like everyone else has. But he's good. It's good fun. So I think we should pop over to say hello. Yeah. Right. Okay. Sweet. So, yes. Have lovely times and everything. Do good things. We'll be back at some point. Enjoy yourselves. Love you all. Mwah.
A bunch of skater boys in here, you know. Hey, Katie, how you doing? Thank you for the thingy, the doodah, raid. I'm good at words. I'm definitely good at words. Just die, dude. Like, yeah. What's your problem, man?